Here is what's coming up in today's Frontline compilation. An overhead quadcopter stalks a Russian column as VOG grenades start falling in short bursts. Watch how movement, not cover, shapes who lives through the next drop. Open ground offers few options as bomb drones hunt Russian pairs moving between craters. The camera tracks one approach. What choice would keep you alive when the tone rises? A surveillance feed finds Mi-17s parked on a remote strip, then watches a convoy lead back to a hangar. Moments later, missiles enter the frame. What target are they really after? This footage, provided by a Ukrainian drone operator, shows the 109th Territorial Defense Brigade engaged in heavy fighting in Krasnohorivka, Donetsk Oblast. This is real footage, no effects, just raw moments from the battlefield. Subscribe to stay updated on every Frontline report and stick around to see it all unfold. Let's get into it. Footage shows Ukrainian bomb drones hitting a Russian forward operating base with electronic warfare systems. The first strike reportedly destroys a Psylocke M1 system that is designed to detect and jam unmanned aerial systems. It does not stop the drones. Additional strikes hit nearby bunkers. After the impacts, bright flames appear, likely from fuel, batteries, or propellant charges stored at the site. The strikes are described as an operation by Ukraine's 30th Mechanized Brigade. The video presents repeated hits on the same area until fires take hold across the position. Drone footage from the 47th Separate Artillery Brigade shows strikes on exposed Russian infantry near Kherson. A squad-sized group tries to move through a damaged village. The video follows their attempts to cross open areas and take cover. Each movement draws another round, with incoming fire not just from artillery, but also from a tank firing missiles into their path. The group is repeatedly forced to stop and scatter. The camera keeps them in frame as impacts land close by and along their route. This compilation, from the Russian side, shows troops using AS-VAL VSS in combat on open ground. These iconic weapons are thought of as a Spetsnaz hallmark. These rifles are used across multiple Russian branches. The edit then follows the same sequence in a field, with movement and short exchanges captured from close range. After that, the sequence repeats inside a bunker complex, where the same group can be seen working through the positions and clearing out bunkers. Video shows a Russian armored push turning into a retreat under accurate Ukrainian artillery and mortar fire. At first, vehicles advance together, but hits land and several are knocked out. The movement slows and then breaks. Troops begin to dismount and move on foot away from the contact. The camera stays on the road and the fields as the formation unravels. What starts as a coordinated drive becomes a scattered pullback, with the surviving vehicles and dismounts heading toward their own lines. Footage shows Russian troops and vehicles hit by Ukrainian DPICM cluster munitions. Multiple impacts land across the area, damaging equipment and causing casualties. In one sequence, a submunition strikes an anti-tank mine and sets it off. The camera view also reveals many other mines scattered on the ground. The scene moves between open patches and paths where the formations attempt to pass, and the pattern of blasts follows them. Video released by a drone crew spotting for an artillery unit near Bakhmut shows the total destruction of a Russian convoy somewhere near Bakhmut. Another Russian vehicle comes and begins to move forward, is spotted by the artillery unit, and is attacked quickly. The camera stays there as the smoke gets thicker. After a while, artillery strikes the vehicles that were standing at the side. A Russian armored column moves toward the suburbs of Krasnohorivka. 4 armored vehicles and a tank cross open ground toward a built-up area. The vehicles are described as BMPs with shell-type armor, though their exact type is not confirmed. Artillery falls as they advance, and the tank fires as it moves. The column enters winding streets, and the tank continues to blaze away, but it is unclear if the area is actively defended. After a loop through the suburbs, the group turns back and departs, trailing smoke and passing through artillery again. FPV GoPro footage begins as the camera operator and others step off the ramp of an armored personnel carrier. The video shows Ukrainian troops assaulting a Russian trench. Soldiers are already outside, kneeling or prone and firing. The team moves to the right of the vehicle and works along the flank of the trench. An M113 type carrier appears behind them with a turret gunner using a .50 caliber machine gun. Drone footage shows dozens of Russian troops targeted by drone-dropped Volgi grenades. Drops land across positions and paths, and many soldiers are wounded by near hits and fragments. The pattern repeats over multiple groups as the camera follows each drop from above. The footage is long and graphic, and the result is a steady series of casualties under persistent attacks from small grenades delivered by the drone. Drone footage recorded by the 1st Assault Battalion of the 5th Assault Brigade shows a Russian mechanized attack being systematically destroyed. Vehicles attempt to advance and then deploy smoke screens to push deeper. The smoke makes little difference because spotting drones are high above the battle space. Impacts land, vehicles halt, and the formation breaks apart. The sequence stays overhead from start to finish. Drone footage shows 2 fully loaded Russian infantry fighting vehicles speeding toward Ukrainian lines in hopes of a breakthrough. The area is heavily mined. Within seconds, both vehicles detonate powerful anti-tank mines and are destroyed. Survivors who can walk dismount and scramble into the nearby tree line. The video ends with the vehicles disabled and the assault stopped. Footage from the 8th Battalion of the 10th Mountain Assault Brigade shows various FPV strikes against Russian troops. The location is not identified. Each clip shows a Russian soldier in the open or in shallow cover. The camera tracks the approach and the moment of impact from above. A drone records a small Russian squad trying to probe Ukrainian lines near Lyman. Kamikaze drones engage as the group moves through a more wooded sector than many other fronts. Trees give some cover and complicate flights, but skilled pilots guide attacks through the gaps. The sequence shows hits landing among the squad until all members are killed or injured. The terrain remains in frame as smoke and debris mark each strike. GoPro footage released with little context by the Freedom of Russia Legion shows an alleged firefight between Legion fighters and Russian forces, reportedly filmed during a cross-border incursion. The video is contested. Pro-Ukrainian and pro-Russian sources both claim it is a staged engagement with no combatants on the downrange side. The camera follows movement, firing, and short bursts from covered positions before the view cuts. This footage, provided by a Ukrainian drone operator, shows the 109th Territorial Defense Brigade in heavy fighting in Krasnohorivka, Donetsk Oblast. Ukrainians take fire from first and second floors of Russian-held buildings, while Humvee .50 caliber turret gunners suppress. Dismounts move to the windows, fire in, and throw what appear to be satchel charges. Then soldiers leave via the Humvees. A large explosive rocks the area, potentially from a satchel charge left behind. In the end, the observation drone tracks both Humvees leaving the area. This footage shows the Ukrainian 3rd Assault Battalion assaulting a Russian trench at extremely close range. The edit alternates between GoPro-style clips and drone views of the trench. First-person shots show the intensity inside the trench, while the overhead view provides context. Ukrainian and Russian soldiers exchange gunfire and explosives from a few feet away, firing into corridors and across berms. Fiber optic drone footage released by Russian sources shows several recent strikes against Ukrainian equipment. The initial strike has no effect because of the camouflage netting around it. A follow-on drone makes a second run, maneuvering more carefully around the netting. The pilot's handling looks hesitant, and the fiber tether complicates each approach. The strikes against equipment continue, and the same sequence repeats from clip to clip. Footage shows a Russian squad moving together before Ukrainian loitering munitions begin striking the formation. Viewer discretion is advised. Most of the soldiers are hit in turn as the munitions land one after another. The last man tries to run, but is struck within seconds and burns alive. Later frames show arms, legs, and heads torn away, with bodies lying dead or badly injured. A drone records the final moments of a Russian soldier. He takes cover behind a tree. Another drone locates the spot and drops a munition that fails to kill him. The camera stays on the position as he remains behind the same tree. A second munition is then released onto the same point and detonates, ending his life. This video footage shows a Russian missile attack on Ukrainian helicopters on the ground. The video starts with 3 Ukrainian helicopters in frame as multiple missile shots are visible in the area. The footage then moves through several clips showing continued missile attacks on helicopters on the ground. After a while, Ukrainian troops can be seen loading into a support truck. It has been reported that this truck was followed to the hangar and support buildings for the helicopters. A second observation drone feed picks up there, and those facilities are destroyed. Helmet cam footage from a Russian infantry squad shows an assault against a Ukrainian trench near Novomykhailivka, southwest of Donetsk city. The clip starts from the back of an armored vehicle and follows a pair of Russians moving through a barely defended trench network. Troops can be seen running to a dugout to capture that position. The video is disputed, with some pro-Ukrainian voices saying the trench was already taken. A Russian state television news team embedded with the military's press ministry comes under accurate artillery fire near Kremina, Luhansk region. The strikes caused multiple casualties, including the death of Russian Major Yevgeny Polovodov. The cameraman who obtained the footage is injured in the leg.
Медики танкового батальона 36-го полка оказывают помощь раненым прямо на ходу.
That's today's raw footage. No effects, no fluff. This is M6 Archive, always first on the front lines. Subscribe and comment if you want more.